Let's now hear from the three industry leaders who will talk about helping you achieve your housing goals beyond the pandemic. We have the founder and chairman of Joraville Realty Development Corporation and chairman emeritus of the Organization of Socialized and Economic Housing Developers of the Philippines Incorporated, Mr. Orlando Bongat. We also have the president and CEO of Houseland Development Corporation and Fiesta Communities Incorporated, Mr. Wilfredo Tan. Lastly, we have the chairman of 1802 SJ Holdings Incorporated, Mr. Giovanni Olivares. We asked them some questions and advice for our viewers. That's why we also request their sons, Jefferson Bongat, the Director of Emeritus of OSHDP, Christopher Ryan Tan, the Director of OSHDP, and Paolo Giovanni Olivares, the National President of OSHDP, to join us today and give further insight about the topic, helping you achieve your housing goals beyond the pandemic.
I'm Orlando Bongat, the chairman of Duraville Group of the companies and the chairman emeritus of the Organization Socialized and Economic Housing Developers of the Philippines. Before I working at Durawood at the 1971, so I left the company in 1975, and then I go back and buy the company in the 1978. So we start the construction supply in the business. And then at this time we had a 9 company. So we have the construction supply, we have the wholesaling, and we have the property management, we have the marketing company, we have the financing company, we have the construction company, and then we have realty company. So we are concentrate now socialist housing and economic housing at this time.
Good day, OSHDP family and ka-TGFI. I'm Mr. Wilfredo M. Tan, President and CEO of Houseland Development Corporation and Fiesta Communities. I was born and raised in Manila, belonging on an entrepreneurial family, tending on our small grocery business, which I earned the first crack on how to do business. I never experienced working in any company. I started my small businesses. I done a lot of business until I finally end up becoming a developer. I started buying and selling of houses way back in the 1980s until I learned the ropes of subdivision development, which for me, I am very happy because to us, we feel that we are doing our contribution to our government and to the Filipino people by providing affordable housing to our kababayan. Which I think even our second generation and the generations to come, we feel that this will be our main source of business, primarily because our housing needs and housing demands does not end in the next 20 or 30 years.
Okay, I'm Giovanni J. Olivares. I am 70 years old. I am chairman of the following corporation: Ecoverde Homes Corporation, Ovia Land Incorporated, Gabriel Waterworks, Malate Construction and Development Corporation, and 1802 SJ Holdings. I have a wife by the name of Nanette, my boss, and 7 children. Actually, I started as a pest control services, I would say 1970 up to 1992. That's where I built my career and honed my skills as a businessman until I was convinced by one of my customers to put up a construction company, which I did in 1981. I organized Malate Construction, my first business, in 1986, first as a construction company, and then eventually became a real estate development company, or you could say a home builder company.
Hi, good day to all of you. I'm Engineer Jefferson Bongat, the son of Orlando Bongat, the Chairman Emeritus of OSHDP. Currently, I'm the Director Emeritus of OSHDP. I graduated from the University of Santo Tomas with a bachelor's degree in civil engineering. After I graduated and took the licensure exam, I started working for a company as expected of me as the eldest son. So that's from a typical Filipino-Chinese family. I have an elder sister, younger brother, two younger sisters. But hindi civil engineering yung first choice ko. My first choice was to be a doctor in kaso lang bubugbugin ako ng tatay ko pag yun ang kinuha ko. So I eventually I chose civil engineering na lang. So I'm married, I have 3 kids, 2 daughters and 1 boy.
Pwede din bagong career, Jeff, no? Usong-uso yung hair mo ngayon sa mga Korean na mga K-pop.
Nag-try na ako mag-practice sumayaw at kumanta. Walang talent. Baka yung audience ang batuhin ako.
Okay. Talaga naman mahirap masundan ang isang Korean actor Chinese na basta sikat. Yun lang alam natin. Magandang araw sa atin mga ka-OSHDP and mga taga-TGFI. Ako naman ay si Ryan Tan or Christopher Ryan Tan. Ako ang anak ni Mr. Willie Tan of Houseland. I am a lawyer by profession and at the same time, a real estate service practitioner, a broker, and an appraiser. I am a proud husband to my lovely wife, Jihan Osorio Tan, and a father of 4 kids, Ryla, Elijah, Joshua, and Zach. Now, I have been part of the company siguro for more than, I would say 15 years officially, pero the entire lifetime I guess, kasi alam nyo naman sa pagka ikaw ay COO o Child of Owner, walang summer break sa school, diretso ka sa opisina at diretso ka din sa dinner table na nagiging board meeting o kaya team lead meeting or whatever kind of meeting. But I'm very happy and proud to be part of Houseland Group. The following companies that were enumerated by my father, siya ang aming boss at ang aming presidente. Pero ang lahat ng dirty works ay syempre sa aming mga bata. So kung itong si Jefferson ay medyo artistahin, itong si Ryan Tan ay medyo inalila. Hindi, joke lang. But I'm happy working with the company.
Tapos na ako doon sa stage na yon.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Gino Olivares, the son of Giovanni Olivares. I'm currently the national president of OSHDP. Little background dun sa tatlo, isang engineer, isang attorney. Si Gino ay just Gino. I don't have a profession, but
humble ka pa.
Professional golfer.
Yeah, professional din. But I've been with my dad for since 2001. From Malate Construction and Development Corporation. But yan, katulad din ni Ryan, prior to that, every summer, nandun ako sa construction site, nagbabantay ng bodega. Nung medyo marunong na ako mag-typewriter, nagtatype ako ng mga dokumento ng mga buyer namin. So it's a very, the family corporation is very hard to be a part with, but it's also very rewarding also.
In the 80s, when I first ventured into housing development, the only available funder for long-term financing is Pag-ibig Fund and National Home Mortgage, which unfortunately in the 90s, nag-stop lending ang National Home Mortgage because the fund availability coming from SSS and GSIS medyo nawala. And the good thing is Pag-ibig Fund took over in the funding for long-term financing for its member as well as SSS and GSIS members. The difference before and now, malaking bagay for the developers. For one, we now have the banks that provide and help Pag-ibig Fund in providing the much needed funds for our home buyers. Alam naman natin, ang Pag-ibig Fund is a mutual fund that was created basically to provide long-term financing for each member. But it's the bank that has a lot of money. Sila ang meron maraming pera na pwede nilang ipahiram on a long term. And there is maturity now in the eyes of our banks, private banks, because right now they realize finally that lending to our home buyers is a safer investment for them, because the Filipino family will always consider housing as their biggest assets in their life. That's why they just cannot forgo the houses that they have bought to us, and they will surely pay their amortization with these funders. What else can we say? Right now, we are more regulated as compared in the 80s and in the 90s, whereby we encounter a lot of developers. Sometimes hindi nagagawa, hindi nag-develop ang mga subdivision properly. But right now, we are guarded by the Housing and Land Use Regulatory Board. Binabantayan kaming mga developers so that we can develop our property in the right and proper way.
I started really in the real estate in 1988. And the only thing I can tell you was that it was cheap, 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 cheap. Why? My first housing project was a 2-hectare lot in Posadas Village, that is in Sucat, Parañaque, which I bought only for 300 pesos. So you can, I don't think you can buy that now for even 20,000 pesos at this time. Okay, so we were able to sell houses there or townhouses for 400,000. Can you imagine selling a townhouse of almost 80 square meter floor area, 80 square meter lot area for 420,000 pesos? Cheap, right? In Parañaque. And then after that, I ventured in really where all of this thing about housing, mass housing started. I ventured in a joint venture with National Housing Authority, of which they owned the land and I would develop and sell. The value that they gave to the land was in Canlubang was only 100 pesos. Unimaginable, right? So they said they allotted to me 20 hectares. So the houses that I was building there during that time, they didn't even call it socialize. It was just low-cost housing. I was selling a house and lot, single detached, okay, on an 80 square meter lot and a 24 square meter house. Bare, of course, for 120,000 pesos. Government regulations were not as stringent and as difficult. It was still the national government giving you the development permits. They were giving since it was a joint venture with NHA, the license, there was no need for a license to sell. It was so easy. So we finished 1,500 houses in 2 years. Sold, documented, taken out, as they say.
Kami, very nice yung story nila Tito Jig at Tito Willie. Kami naman, kwento sa akin ng father ko. So, di ba hardware nga. So we started from hardware. Nabili niya from the dating owner where he started working. So normally, hardware papautang ka sa contractor, sa buyer, sa mga kliyente. Lagi problema, maningil, sabi niya. So somebody, kasi pag natayo na yung semento or nabuhos na pala yung semento, di mo naman pwedeng hatakin. Diba? So my father our company kept filing cases, collection cases, ang bagal diba? Mga so somebody offered to him na, ba't hindi na ikaw mag-contractor? From that, nag-try siya mag-kontrata. Ganun din. Same issue. Di ka rin nababayaran ng mga nagpapatayo ng bahay. So parang ayaw na niya. Then a friend of his introduced him to National Home Mortgage Finance Corporation na mag-try nga daw to participate sa housing. So wala nang, hindi ka na kailangan magpautang sa contractor. Ikaw na yung contractor. Ikaw na rin yung may-ari. So started there with my uncles na a couple of units dati hanggang sa yun, the first project nila, lagi ko narinig when I was still a kid, break even na borderline lugi. Parang ganyan. So parang ayaw na nila, but eventually na-encourage pa rin sila to try one more time. I think yung second project, doon na kami, doon na sila kumita kahit konti. So yun, tuloy-tuloy na from there. And it's, alam ko, 89 yata yun, 89. So yun ang story naman sa amin.
Ako naman gusto ko bigyan ng reaction yung sinabi ni tatawid ako kay Tito Jing, dad ni Gino, na at that time it was very easy. Pero gusto ko sanang itali ito doon sa nabanggit ng father ko about financing during the days of National Home Mortgage Finance Corporation. It was very easy probably sa mga developers at that time kasi nga hindi ganun kahirap ang mga patakaran ng gobyerno. Pero alam natin, di ba, Jefferson and Gino, yung interest rate nung panahon na yon, yung option ng financing para sa mga buyer, napakahirap. And gusto ko lang sanang ipaalala sa ating mga nanonood, no? Itong panahon na ito, kahit merong tayong pandemic, napakaganda ng mga options or mga mapagpipilian natin pagdating sa financing ng ating mga pabahay. So kung iisipin niyo na parang ang hirap magkabahay, sobrang dami ng option. Gaya nga na sinabi ng tatay ko, nandiyan yung mga bangko at nandiyan ang pinaka-reliable nating institution na Pag-ibig Fund. Alam mo, Jeff at saka Gino, yung Pag-ibig Fund, laki rin ng tulong sa atin, hindi ba? Na ngayong mga panahon na ito, nagkaroon man ng pandemic and nagkaroon tayo ng mga mobility or restrictions, ang Pag-ibig Fund ay talagang tunay na they stood in the gap to bridge yung ating difficulty mag-produce ng bahay, and at the same time, nag-adjust din ang Pag-ibig Fund para doon naman sa mga nahirapang mag-sustain ng kanilang mga housing loan. So, ang ganda pa rin na nagpapasalamat din tayo sa Panginoon at sa panahon na ito, may ganito tayong institution na talagang tunay nga namang bumibitbit hindi lamang sa ating mga buyers and borrowers ng Pag-ibig Fund, pero sa atin ding mga developers. So buti na lang at tayo ay nabubuhay sa panahong ito.
Yes. Ngayon yung pinakamababang interest rate for quite some time, di ba? Even banks, baba ng interest rate. At least kahit itong pandemic, nag-adjust yung interest rate. Kaya sa yung mga dapat magbuti yung pagkuha ng bahay sa panahon ngayon until susunod hanggang next year.
Yes, also to add to that, OSHDP is trying to get the economy going. Dahil nga madaming naghahanap ng bahay, madami hong bumibili, hindi kami tumitigil gumawa ng bahay at pagka-provide para sa mga Pilipino na gusto magkabahay. So tuloy-tuloy ang trabaho.
Ang OSHDP tumutulong sa mga kumpanya, tumutulong sa mga gobyerno. Concentrate natin how can we helping the company and how can we helping the government to generation of their taxation. And then, bigyan mo natin yung trabaho to natin, continue ang trabaho para matulong sa pamilya nila. And then, importante is, we advise all the members of the OSHDP members, may istako natin yung medicine. In case, kung may tinatamaan yung tauhan natin, bigyan natin yung free medicine, dapat tumutulong sila, we guide them, paano gagawa, paano i-quarantine, paano recovery. Kung meron nangyayari, talaga tinutulungan natin, instead yung gamot, pati financing support. Yun ang makawa natin ng OSHDP members, tumutulong sa mga tao, sa gobyerno natin.
OSHDP, or let's say my fellow real estate developers, we're able to navigate our businesses in this pandemic. I think we survived quite well in spite of the problems of lockdowns, scarce workers, And I attribute it really to the strong management of Home Development Mutual Fund. I congratulate them for supporting us, for understanding us, for understanding their members who would like to have their homes. And they gave us the confidence to gamble our capital and money in developing houses for the Filipinos who really needed them, especially in this pandemic.
As mentioned, di ba, nung yung tatlong naming tatay na nagsimula ng OSHDAP. OSHDAP is here, really here to help small developers, di ba? Starting developers or those who want to be developers. The three of us here right now is a testament na yung pinagdaanan nila, di ba? Asian financial crisis, ngayon pandemic, and yung dating Lehman Brothers na crisis na pinagdaanan. So we are here to help the other members, not only just in their sa negosyo, even sa personal life nila. Ako nga, I think isa nakatulong sa akin in our family business in OSHDAP is when Ryan and Gino started to join OSHDAP. Medyo pa nakahanap ako ng kabatchmate. Parang ang hirap nung lagi mong kasama, medyo matatanda na, lagi ka pinapagalitan, sinesermonan. So medyo nakahanap ako ng parang, we shared the same pinagdadaanan after, pare-pares kami na story, pinagalitan kami, inuman kami, kwentuhan. So OSHDAP is, that's the main of OSHDAP right now, to help the real estate players to survive and how to navigate in times of crisis and in times of kapag may sagana sa pag maganda yung economic situation. Di ba, Ryan?
Oo nga. Ako naman, napaka-importante nung role din ng OSHDAP bilang isang, sabihin na nating asosasyon. It's a business organization, but it fills in an important role to bridge what government cannot see on the ground. Alam naman natin na ang ating pamahalaan needs to put up some policies and framework para ang framework ng pabahay sa ating bansa ay maayos. Pero hindi naman kasi sa lahat ng oras nakikita nila. Especially sa ating bansa na ang daming islands, ang daming kultura, iba't ibang preferences at iba't iba ring kondisyon. Ang OSHDAP bilang isang asosasyon ng mga developers na makikita natin represented from all over the different islands in the Philippines, na gagawa nating maiparating yung mga reaction at the same time impact or effect ng mga ini-implement ng government. So napakaganda rin lang na nakakapag-compare notes din ang mga developers na sa ganoong aspeto hindi namin tinitignan o hindi natin tinitignan na kami ay magkakatunggali. Bagkus tinitignan din namin na yung aming samahan bilang mga developers ay na parang nagka-comparean kami how to be better or what you call best practices.
Ryan, naalala mo ba yung March 2020, yung pagka-lockdown?
Oo.
Bigla yan kasi yung lockdown, di ba? Wala kami magawa. So tawag ako kay Jeff tsaka kay Ryan. Uy, video call naman tayo. Di ba? Tapos may konting drinks kami. So nakapaglabas kami ng mga ideas na dapat ito gawin natin. Dapat i-ensure natin yung business continuity. So, yun, maglaking bagay talaga yun kapag usap-usap kami mga co-developers to ensure the continuity of the real estate business during the pandemic. So, after nung March 2020, nung kailan ba parang nag-MECQ muna yata tapos, yun. So, tuloy-tuloy lang talaga kami mga nagtatrabaho for the real estate industry.
At saka even if yung tayo Jefferson, Gino, yung ating mga projects ay located sa iba't ibang lugar o bahagi ng Pilipinas, pare-pareho rin ang ating mga pinagdadaanang problema. So, yung samahan siguro sa OSHDAP ng itong mga batang developers, syempre hindi naman sa lahat ng oras pwede rin nating makulit ang mga tatay, iba yung natutunan nila sa panahon nila. At sa panahon nito, nagkakaroon ng magandang venue para tayo makapag, masabi, paano mo ba didiskartehan yung mga ganitong problema? At nakakatulong, nakakapagpalakas sa sa aming mga negosyo, kanya-kanyang mga businesses, but at the same time, yung end benefit ito yung ating mga buyers kasi hindi nyo man natatanong, sinisilip ko yung project ni Gino at saka ni Jefferson kung naungusan na ba nila ako o ahead pa ako, 'di ba? So, yung healthy competition na yon actually redounds to the benefit of the consuming public.
May ano naman healthy competition naman talaga. I mean, marami naman buyers, di ba? So there's hindi naman kailangan talagang magsiraan.
Madami
Pero
yung backlog eh.
Ito, one tip na natutunan ko nga sa OSHDP recently, nabanggit nga ni Ryan na kasi kanina about islands eh. 2 weeks ago, we have a housing talk, di ba? So because of technology, yung mga mapping, radar system, hindi pala 7,100 plus islands ang meron ng Pilipinas. It's 7,640 plus, di ba? Yun yung number of islands na meron tayo. So nadagdagan pa siya ng 500 islands. So hindi pa yata ina-adapt officially ng government, pero yun yung data na nag-gather ng mga geodetic engineers ng Pilipinas.
At saka ang kainaman din sa samahang ito, wala na ring barrier. So yung honesty, pagbibigay ng komento kung masyadong baduy yung design at talagang hindi makakalusot yan kay Jefferson, mahihiritan ka. So maganda at maayos. Nakaka-proud maging miyembro ng OSHDP.
The importante for a company to looking forward what is in the future in the business. The number one is to be looking your company capacity. Huwag masyado malaki naman over expansion. Dapat kung anong kaya ho nila, yan ang kawalila tahan-tahan. Kasi kung sobra expansion, sometimes inabot natin ng crisis, ang problema, mahirap natin makakuha ng additional fund. Pangdalawa, pati mga tao, mahirap makabayad yung utang nila kung malaki inuutang nila. Kaya ang tingin natin sa gobyerno, tumutulong natin, ayusin natin maganda yung appraisal, especially for the social housing, para makautang yung tao, makabayad nila yung capacity to pay, para makakura nila bahay, para walang problema sa crisis.
Well, number one for me is really the buyer's financing, their access to home credit. Because especially with HDMF, the banks will always be there, but normally the banks would shy loans at less than 1 million, okay, or even and of course there's stringent you would say qualifications to borrow 1 million and above are very tough, and also they demand a high equity. So that's really the problem. If you want to continue, I think, as I said, HDMF is doing a fine job, and it just continue, and I hope that the next president would not be gun shy, would not be scared to lend, because I think we developers, naintindihan na namin yung responsibility namin to give or to sell quality homes to our home buyers for them to keep and value.
We are hiring some engineer and some high technical people, and then we're looking forward internationally kung anong maganda yung construction metal before. Na yung input natin, ginawa natin forming system, kinakawa natin, important natin ng forming, so yung construction natin, maganda, mabilis, matibay pa. So, para reducing the costing, pangdalawa, para matibay yung bahay, para makatulong nino, yun ang importante sa atin.
Among the innovative approaches that we apply to make affordable housing to our home buyers, when it comes to technology, particularly sorting out of our raw materials for our construction. Before, most of our materials that we are using, we import them from abroad. But because of what we experienced in the COVID-19 and the lockdowns, we now shifted on buying locally available materials to make construction a little bit more faster. And if we can make it a little bit more cheaper, the better. When it comes to our marketing, before we use more than 1,000 salespeople to market our product. But right now, we are using digital marketing, which cut down the numbers of manpower to be able to sell. And yet, we're able to generate the same, if not more, in terms of our closed sales. Yan ang kagandahan ng technology natin ngayon. And also for our viewers, no, mga OFW, it is very easy for them now to get in touch with developers in your area of interest. No? Technology has played a very vital role to make it a little bit more easier for us to reach our buyers and for the buyers to reach the supposed to be developers, to know their product line that they are offering, the models, the designs, and all the queries that they would like to ask. Madali na ngayon no? That's why meron din magandang impact ang nagawa itong COVID. Ano? So we keep on innovating system and processes of how we can make housing a little bit more affordable and within reach for our home buyers.
More than half of the real estate companies are still using hollow blocks because it's the cheapest and it's the easiest to fabricate and easiest to build. Okay. And after that would be, you call the form works already. You buy the salt, you buy form works, or you buy you go precast, those things. These are capital intensive. So it really depends on what kind of mass housing developer you are. If you are after fast construction, I would say using high technology formworks or even precast, but those are quite difficult to use and to master. These are the things that can actually accelerate your housing production.
Jeff, yung mga magulang natin medyo nahirapan mag-adjust dun sa digital transformation itong COVID no?
Si tatay ko yung Zoom lang. Medyo siya ng konti doon. Pero hirap sila dun sa other forms. Oo, na parang syempre, even payments kami, ayan, as mentioned nga before na sa atin, competition-wise and yung mga advices na ginagawa, kami na-force kami to go digital payments. Dati wala, di ba? Sanay tayo sa cash, cheque. So ngayon, kailangan pa namin explain yung over-the-counter online banking to our parents. But nabanggit nga kanina ni Tito Jing, saka ni father ko, financing, di ba? It's a very important role talaga para maging affordable yung housing. Kasi construction cost natin and cost of land, halos pataas yan So OSHDP tayo, di ba? We've been working with trying to convince government to play a bigger role sa socialized and economic housings. Like in other countries na medyo na-solve na nila yung mga affordable housing problem nila, government talaga ang nag-finance nun Sila naglabas na malalaking budget. Kasi yung private funds we need, di ba, to recoup, di ba? Private lenders din ang pinaghihiraman natin. So, hindi nila pwede talagang iasa sa private sector to produce or solve the housing backlogs natin or housing crisis, di ba, Ryan?
Kami naman, ako, yung notable experience ko during this pandemic, akala ng aking mga boss, 2 weeks lang, parang nagbakasyon lang. Sabi ko, parang hindi yata bakasyon ito. Tapos ni-lockdown at extend. So yung first 2 weeks, medyo relax pa ang mga boss at mga katrabaho, nagde-Netflix. Tayo, di ba, ito na, nag-iisip na, how do we hasten the digital transformation when you cannot even walk out of your house? Pero kailangan mo magpasweldo ng daang mga empleyado, kailangan mo ring maningil ng buyer na hindi mo alam kung nasaan man sila na lockdown. It was such a challenge. But it is also a blessing na we didn't know na the things that we take for granted before, itong internet, Zoom. We knew Zoom before, pero di ko pinapansin. Mas gusto ko pa rin patawag yung mga project officers traveling from the other provinces to our home base. But we are so privileged to know at hindi alam ng mga boss yon. So it was also leadership step up time for the second generation. Siguro last point na lang, ang talagang malaking nung na-realize ni father ko na hindi yata to ba Netflix vacation o kaya yung mga matatanda, so ano yun, yung baraha at saka mahjong vacation din kanila at humahaba na doon na sila nakaramdam ng concern. Ang unang instruction ng father ko na hindi ko naman naisip is yung cost sensitive. So wala talaga akong masabi na pagdating sa pagtingin sa tipid na, hanapan pa natin ng paraan para makatipid. Siguro yun na maibabahagi ko sa lahat ng nanonood ngayon na just because meron tayong naitabing savings, kung kaya pa rin nating tipirin at kaya pa rin nating mamuhay ng simple at kaya pa rin nating mamuhay ng hindi masyadong gumagastos, lalo na sa panahon ng krisis. Malaking bagay yung narating nun.
Dapat in-advise natin mga young generation natin. Umpisa, dapat matuto ka na. Number 1, hard study. Number 2, kailangan manulong mag-saving para makaipon kahit konti-konti lang. Pagkatapos yung graduation, highly educated na sila, naging professional, using their education and then using their savings fund as the seedling money to invest in their business, to invest in their good future. Kasi kung walang magandang education, tapos hindi marunong mag-ipon, kahit magandang opportunity sa'yo, hindi mo kaya kukurin, hindi mo kaya sundin. So wala nang kinabukasan. Dapat lahat tayo makakaisa, hard study, hard working, savings, para meron tayo kinabukasan. Para lahat ng Filipino people, maganda ho kinabukasan. Kailangan natin makakaisa tayo.
To our listeners, to our viewers, let me tell you this. Home ownership is very important and vital for a family. You will have feeling of security and dignity. You might want to consider buying at Fiesta Communities or house. Incidentally, Fiesta is an acronym for F, family. We focus on the Filipino family. I, it is an investment for them so that no matter how small the houses or modest the house that you buy to us, eventually the value of the property goes up. And by the time you have sufficient fund to buy a big house, your dream house, you can sell it and make a profit. So it's an investment. E is an environment. We make it a point that the environment is conducive for the family to live, a gated and well-secured environment. S is for shelter. We provide roof over the head of your family. T is technology. We continuously scout for new technology in order to make our housing product A, which is affordability. Fiesta, family, investment, environment, shelter, technology, and affordability. If your needs for housing is here in Central Luzon, just get in touch with us and we'll be very happy to provide your dream house. I hope I was able to enlighten you or give you some idea about our housing scenario, situation in our country. It's not bad, it's still good. And it's a growing business and availability of land for you guys is just around the corner. All that you have to do, of course, is to get in touch with us. Digital marketing is very important and you can always get in touch with any developers that you feel like getting in touch with. So, magandang araw po sa inyo lahat. Sana po may natutuhan tayo kahit konti. And I hope makaroon na tayo ng bahay. Kung hindi ngayon, bukas. Maraming salamat.
Itong advice ko talaga sa mga gusto magkabahay. First of all, yung puso nila kailangan nandun na gusto nila magkabahay na. And then susunod dun, kaya ba nilang bayaran yung uutangin nila? Pag nakita nilang ang kaya lang namin is 4,000, dun lang sila tatapat. Okay? Huwag nila masyadong kunin yung aspiration nila. Dahil mawawala rin sa kanila yung pag na-foreclose, pag hindi na bayad eh. Di ba? So that is really my advice. First of all, look at the developer that has a high quality, that has a very good track record, and then yung terms ng developers, and then second, talaga yung affordability na kaya nila. Huwag yung aspiration na gusto nila. Iba yung want, iba yung need, iba yung can afford. Those are the three cases, di ba? I want this, I need this, I can afford this. Yeah. So let's look at the need and the affordability. Not on the want so much. Yun lang naman, oo. Kami dito will always be here. I mean, I'm 70. My children are just in their late 30s, mid-30s and early 40s. So they will have another, 35, 40 years to construct homes, I'm sure they will be doing it for the rest of their lives.
Ako na muna, narinig ko yung aking tatay na nag-promote ng fiesta. So, alam na alam mo talaga kung ano yung puso niya. Pero proud ako diyan dahil yun din ang yung representation ng ating values na talagang clear na nagbebenepisyo ang pamilyang Pilipino. At gusto ko lang sabihin, lalo na narinig ko rin yung comment ng dad mo, Gino. Ang sabi niya, yun nga, yung what need at saka want. Real estate in general and housing is still your best hedge for or against inflation. So sabi nga nila sa mga nakikinig ko, kailan ba tayo dapat mag-start mag-invest? Aba, yung as early as you can. Because, and especially, you'll never go wrong with real estate. You'll never go wrong with your first house, lalo na kung affordable. So, go lang. Kung kaya, invest. Anong tingin mo, Gino?
Natatawa lang ako kasi yung daddy ko sabi, my children are 30s. 40s na ho kami.
Iba, sigurado ba kayo na kayo yun?
So, it's how the family corporation, laging iniisip niya na bata pa talaga yung mga second generation. So yun, madami pa talaga siyang tinuturo sa atin. Pero yes, the want, the need, and the can afford, diba? Yung pinaka for buying a house, yung monthly amortization ninyo ho, kung kakayanin niyo ho yung monthly amortization, bilhin niyo yung bahay na gusto niyo. Wag masyadong kasi pag mahihirap po, pag may magkasakit or madagdagan ng gastos, mahihirapan ho maghulog sa pag-ibig.
Actually, ako naman, ganda na nung it's hard to add to the advice of our parents, di ba? All three advices are really full of wisdom. Kaya nga, sa atin naman, di ba, second generation nga, we try to continue, di ba? We try to continue their, at yung mga advice, di ba? I think lahat tayo nung tinamaan to, ang unang takbo natin, Dad, paano to? Di ba? Ito yung major real crisis na nating tatlo. So how do we survive this? So syempre, kasi naman sa inyo, ganun din ginawa, di ba? Sermon konti, tapos may konting yabang, di ba? So, di ba?
Yan, sabi nila, tama, yung 2 linggo lang yan. After na.
Diba? So, yun, nag-survive naman, di ba? Ako siguro, the only thing that I can add is, sa mga naghahanap ng pabahay, go to OSHDP. Go to OSHDP. We have lots of members nationwide. You can never go wrong. There's a lot of we have a lot of members that we have a good track record. A lot of them are starting, but they're doing their best, and we are guiding them. Nandito naman kami, and we're also learning from them. May question ata doon, Ryan.
It is time now for us to read questions or comments from the chat box. So, ayun. First question is, ito from the audience. Sabi niya, what was the most memorable career and life advice that your father has taught you? Nabanggit ko na kanina, pero I think it's worth repeating. Tipid. So, yung alam natin yung younger generation sa atin, Jefferson and Gino, wag na kayong mag-deny. At many times we feel also na matanda na rin tayo kasi hindi ko na rin mag-get tong TikTok ganyan. pero itong generation na to, pansin ko mas stress lang ng konti, tumatakbo sa Starbucks, bibili ng mga mamahaling mga kape, o kaya parang you only live once mentality. So siguro kung meron man kaming maipapasang natutunan ko personally, yun, huwag tayo mabulag dun sa may pera naman so okay lang, enjoy ganyan. So iba pa rin yung prudence o yung being responsible in managing our finances. Siguro yun yung pinaka-importanting na ibahagi sa akin ng aking ama.
Pang Miss Universe naman yung tanong na yan. Nakakabigla for those na hindi nakakaalam, kakaedad kami 3 ha. Same batch kami. So inabutan talaga namin, wala pang iPad noon, di ba? Lahat, wala pa kailan lang nagka-computer nung pag-graduate na ng high school. So talagang, I think that's the difference. We lived in a time, walang social media.
Umaming ka, naabutan mo rin yung Betamax at VHS.
Walang social media, so nakakahanap tayo ng way. Actually, ako hirap pa mag-adjust.
Wala pang cable TV.
Wala pang YouTube nun, di ba? Talagang pang-research lang dati yun. Parang encyclopedia pa nga yung unang program nung nada-download sa computer. Even until now, as much as possible, gusto ko pa rin face-to-face meeting. Iwas ako sa Zoom. But siguro advice-wise for sa career or sa business, my father keeps reminding to us is do not cheat our buyers. So yun pa rin yung laging that's sa dami niyang sinabi, yun what stands out to me na do not cheat our buyers, kasi most of them once lang bibili ng bahay yan at buong buhay nilang huhulugan yan, di ba? 30 years sa pag-ibig. So sana make it worth their while, yung pagod nila, yung sacrifices nila. So yun lang yung career advice na sinusunod namin sa company until now.
That's good.
Gino.
Yeah, yan, medyo hindi sa business side ang pinaka-advice na nakuha ko sa dad ko. More of in life. He always tells me, you have to learn how to enjoy your life. You have to spend time with your family. Enjoy.
So, yun twice a week na golf ba? Enjoy?
Kaya naman ako yung pinakamukhang bata sa inyong dalawa eh. Kasi
puprotesta ako dyan.
Di ba? So, yung yun, enjoy and don't be too stressed. May bukas naman. Kayang-kaya natin yan. Siguro, to overcome things. Yeah.
Nice one. O Gino, basahin mo na yung next question. Baka kung saan tayo mapunta sa...
The next question from our audience. What's it like to be in the same industry as your father? Would you encourage your children, if applicable, to enter the real estate industry? No, they don't. Actually, for me, because all our children, Ryan and Jeff's children, are the same ages. So, nung nakikita, mahirap din kasi itong trabaho namin, madami yung kinakausap, madami yung pinapakiusap. Parang hindi ko ma-picture pa na magiging third generation in real estate yung mga children ko pa. Kasi sobrang babait eh.
Ako naman, Gino, diba, pandemic, tapos hindi makalabas yung mga bata. Tapos makikita mo talaga malungkot. Ako naman, inisip ko, paano kaya kailangan ko magtrabaho pa rin eh. Kailangan pa rin natin umikot sa site. So, nakaisip ako ng idea. Bitbitin ang mga bata. Sakay sa kotse. Sabi ko, take out McDonald's but you come with daddy first. Daddy needs to see the project site. We'll do, you will see daddy's Lego. O, di ba? So, bitbit ang mga bata. And at the back of my mind, Kasi ganoon din siguro yung ginawa ng tatay ko sa akin. Yung project namin nasa Pangasinan, sa katira kami sa Angeles, tapos wala pang expressway noon. So 3 oras kang nasa sasakyan. So ngayon, para lang may pansuhol ako sa mga anak ko sumama sa akin, we'll buy twister fries. Tapos ayun, punta tayo sa project. Tapos para lang hindi sila mainip, oh, you playing with your Lego? My Lego is better than yours. Oh, di ba? So at least they get to see what we do, and what we do is something that they can imagine themselves doing in time. Ikaw, Jeff.
Siguro parang insert, siyempre gusto ko, di ba, na kasama ko sila, di ba, you're doing this naman not only for yourself, but for the family. Sana magustuhan din nila. Noong una parang ako hesitant din, but eventually, after I finish a subdivision, nakita mo rin yung fulfillment, di ba, from transformation from a Roland, di ba, na walang-wala to seeing families, then they would be talking to you. So na-enjoy ko pala yung and sabi nga ni Gino, you have to learn a lot of skills dito sa real estate. But I'm not really sure kasi panganay ko, 12 years old pa lang. Dati gusto niya maging architect. Tutulungan daw niya ako. Tapos nag-ayaw niya na, fashion designer na. Ngayon, ayaw niya na mag-fashion designer. Gusto ngayon niya maging vlogger na. Tapos sa every month, iba na naman ang gusto niya. Kaya hindi ko talaga alam kung
influencer
sila.
Influencer.
Parang gano'n naman ang
gusto. Sabi ko, matuto ka mag-house tour para mapakinabangan ka namin.
So, pero syempre, if they would be joining, medyo iibahin ko ng konting style yung ginawa sa akin ng tatay ko. Stressful yun Medyo, mas maganda ko, siguro iba na lang mag-train, baka mawalan ako ng pasensya. Kasi laging World War 10 ata kami sa office doon wala nang nuclear bomb na sumasabog pag every time nakikita kami when we started out, di ba? So, yeah, a different style in teaching them.
Yeah. Oh, Jeff.
What do you think will it take to ensure success or at least the continuity of a real estate business at this time? Gino, Mr. President, you can start.
Continuity. Thank you talaga sa financing institution sa Pag-ibig. Kasi hindi tumigil ang mga project namin. Hindi tumigil yung pagbebenta namin ng mga bahay. Na madami kasi dami talaga naghanap ng bahay nitong pandemic. Kasi yung sinasabi ko nga, siguro, usually yung mga singles, yung mga wala pa hong pamilya. Siguro, nung pandemic nga, na-stuck sila together in their parents' house. So, madaming gusto
nabuo?
Bumukod.
Nakakala ko nabuo
Madaming gustong bumukod. So, yun. Also, yung being honest developers, we in OSHDP are proud to say our members are very honest with our development. Hindi namin binobola yung mga buyers namin para lang makabenta. We tell them everything. We guide them from start to finish till the turnover of the units to them.
Sa akin naman siguro ito lagi sinasabi ni father ko at nalagi ko narinig kay Tito Willie. Please take care of your creditors, yung mga bangko. Kailangan maganda relationship kasi real estate, kahit mag-build and sell ka, capital intensive. Diba? Mabigat talaga yung capital. You have to buy the land, you have to construct the house. Pag wala yung bahay, hindi ka babayaran. Especially for build and sell. Hindi yan kagaya ng developer na medyo pwede ka pa mag-down payment, ganyan. Yung ila 24 months to pay, but normally, when you're gonna start out sa real estate, sa build and sell, nagsisimula, gusto nila tapos yung bahay. So, pag kumita naman, wag gastusin kagad, sabi ni Ryan, di ba? Wag gastusin, di ba? Ibalik ulit sa negosyo, palakihin nyo muna. Kasi lahat kami started from 2 houses, 5 houses, naging 20, naging 70, 100, 500, 1,000, 10,000. Yan, dyan nagsimula lahat yan. So, kaya take care of your finances, unahin mo yung business, take care of your creditors, utang lagi unang bayaran, di ba? So, yun yung advice ko for those who want to start in real estate business. Ryan.
Ako naman, just to answer that question before we read yung mga ibang tanong, medyo madami na rin. No? Pero I like the question in the sense na how do you ensure success? Siguro kung yun ang mentality namin from the very beginning, masisiraan kami ng katinoan dahil mahirap talaga. This kind of business is an agglomeration or amalgamation ng iba't ibang profession at iba't ibang skill. So, siguro I will highlight yung faith namin na pinagkatiwala ng Panginoon sa amin itong negosyong ito. Siya rin naman na He will see us through. So at the back of our minds, buo yung aming pananampalataya at paniniwala na it will be successful. Doon pa lang at the start of the day because the Lord has blessed us even by the fact that we are in this business and even by the fact na nagkaroon nga ng pandemic. Yung merkado, yung nangangailangan ng pabahay ay marami at nandun tayo at hindi tayo ganun kadami na kailangan talaga nating humabol para doon. So I would say ensuring success is ensuring your heart with the Lord. Okay? Sige, jump na ako sa next question. Sabi rito, many families and individuals of modest means have difficulty finding adequate, affordable housing. What can be done to change that? In your opinion, what does it mean by improving the quality of housing? I don't know, Gino, you have any thoughts on that?
Maybe for me, the regulations of our government. We do not have a free hand on building what is needed in a specific market. Like, for example, diba, in other Southeast Asian countries, the minimum square meters for condominium unit is very small. Here, it's very big. So, the affordability issue talaga nagiging problema dahil hindi ho kami makabenta ng affordable na bahay na grabe ho yung specifications. So, more of yun, we try that. We talk to the government agencies regarding it. So we're pushing it to make the homes more affordable.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gino. But let me add something to that. One of the founders of OSHDP, Mr. JJ Atencio, which is also the CEO and chairman of TGFI, before he's working on together with OSHDP a proposal to the government to give the first-time home buyers house incentive, because the prices of the houses, as I mentioned before, is fixed na the hard cost, which is the land and the house, no. So that's why we've been advocating together with the TGFI na to have the government, diba, provide more incentive not only to the contractors, to the developer, but also to the buyers of housing, because it's the only way one of the only way we can see to lower the cost of purchasing a house, like VAT, removal of VAT, waivers of transfer taxes, even income taxes for the buyers of if they're going to purchase their homes for the first time. Even it can be deducted, diba? Yung binayad nila amortization sa kanilang income taxes. Tama ba, Ryan?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So ano na?
Next question mo kasi.
Last na ba o second to the last?
Last two questions na tayo kasi nag-overtime na tayo.
Oo nga.
Sige. Okay. So
the next question is, what has been the role of OSHDP in help addressing the homelessness in the country?
Mm-hmm.
Ryan, would you like to?
Ako na yan? O sige. Siguro sagutin natin yung tanong na yan with the perspective na higit 2 dekada na yung OSHDP at kasama ng OSHDP ang mga 2 o 3 major crisis sa ating bansa. At alam naman natin nagkaroon ng crisis, talagang may impact sa pabahay. ang mga Pilipino dumadami pero hindi ba kahabol masyado ang pabahay. Pero doon ko rin nakikita kung saan ang OSHDAP ay naging aktibo. We've been very active na lalo na kung nahihirapan tayo, we've been very vocal, we've been very honest, and at the same time, we've been clear-eyed on what we think is makakabuti sa industriya at makakabuti sa buong housing sector ng Pilipinas. So I think that is an important role that in the ebb and flow of our economy, our time, and our history, we serve to be an active catalyst if we're dipping, and we serve to steady if we are overheating. So OSHDAP played an important role in those 2.5 decades that it existed.
Let me add to that, Ryan. We're also advocating for the rental subsidy law, di ba? Ang rental subsidy is para hong housing vouchers para sa mga Pilipino. Yung hindi ho maka-afford ng makabili ng bahay ngayon, if ever we're advocating for the housing vouchers, so yung mga hindi ho maka-afford, bibigyan ho ng housing vouchers ng gobyerno para yun ho yung subsidy na magagamit nila para makapangbayad dun sa upa ng mga inuupahan nilang bahay.
That's right. So last question na siguro tayo, Gino.
So for the last question, if there are those who would like to venture in real estate too, like if they have lands available, would you be interested in partnering with them or work with you?
Aha!
Oh, of course. Wag lang sa Central Luzon.
Buti na lang. Yun ang sinabi mo.
Pero yes, of course, di ba? The association, all of us, the three of us are always open to business ventures. Actually, excuse me. Ako nga, bago mag-lockdown, I was supposed to fly south eh. Parang March 17 yata or 18 yung flight ko kasi I plan to look at the property there, di ba? To go out of Metro Manila or itong Calabar zone namin. Hopefully, ito na, di ba? Things are easing up, di ba? I can still pursue yung expansion namin dun sa south. Actually, that's Mindanao area. So, yes, we are open, all of us, kanya-kanya lang kaming area. Pero pwede rin naman akong Central Luzon. Tatabihan ko lang si Ryan para hindi na kami mahirapan magbenta.
Come join me in Mindanao.
Ako naman dun sa if you have lands, tama. Not only are we open, pero think long and hard kasi yung property development is both capital intensive and labor intensive. So kung mag-experiment kayo, mahirap magkamali kasi malaki yung lugi.
Mahal magkamali sa real estate.
So okay naman if you partner with us kasi look at how we do it. For one, we save you some of the headaches. Another is you get to learn, and then if you're ready and you learn the tricks, then you may want to do it on your own.
Mabilis na naman kami kausap, di ba? Whiskey lang, happy na tayo.
Oo nga. So yun. So mukhang sinesenyasan na tayo, Jefferson. Final message? What do you think?
Una ka na.
Ako naman. Alright, sige. Masaya itong ating Affordable Housing Summit kasi we never thought na makakapag-convention tayo na we are in different locations. We were always used to seeing every one of you in a setting. And so even before itong ating summit week, nasa balita na we are now entering the metaverse era. So very exciting what is gonna happen in the coming days. And we are thankful that we are already entering our recovery phase. And kami naman, though hindi naman talaga tayo entirely nawala, but the sector ng pabahay, the housing sector, we are gearing up to aid in the recovery of everyone. Whether you are our workers, employees, contractors, or funders, and more importantly, if you are our end user beneficiaries, you have a very strong partner association that has led the housing agenda for the past 2.5 decades. So personally, I am thankful that the Lord has blessed us with this association. And yeah, the future is so bright. Sabi nga nila, we need to wear our shades.
Thank you, Ryan. For my part, to all the who are attending this two-day housing summit, we just want to share what is happening in the real estate industry. Why is it really hard to solve the housing backlog? OSHDP and together with my fellow officers, that is our goal, to solve that housing backlog in the near future. Hopefully, this two-day summit, you're able to learn a lot of new things, how hard it is, but how exciting real estate is. You will understand that what is needed to start finish a project. OSHDP would always continue to fight for the rights and protect the rights of the socialized economic housing beneficiaries. From the start, we've been protecting Pag-ibig. We've been helping Pag-ibig for its sustainability, because as of now, that's the only source of financing, end user financing for socialized housing. So you can, minsan nga, kaaway na nga namin yung ibang developer namin kasi nga, it's disadvantages sometimes to the end user. So kami naman, we voice out our concerns. We do not let them, some of them try to abuse, di ba? Some policies. So kami, medyo neutral kami dyan. But ang importante kasi sa amin is the longevity of the housing sector. So that's what you can expect from OSHDP. That's what you can expect from our companies. So let's help each other. Everybody stay safe. Enjoy this two-day summit, and hope to see you in our future events and summits. Gino, the last word, Mr. President.
Paumpisa pa lang ho kami. Ang unang segment ho nitong ating two-day housing summit. I hope you will enjoy the rest of the first day and the second day. You will learn a lot. The housing summit from start to finish is parang from pagbili ho ng bahay na first home nyo ho hanggang sa pagpapamana ng first home nyo. Matuturuan ho kayo nitong housing summit na to. Salamat.